In today's video, we're combining our love of Mosaic and COLORBLOCK. We'll make a freestanding tabletop heart. It's covered in a variety of stained glass pieces, but the real showstopper is the grout. Yes, please. Let's get to it. Welcome back, and if you're new here, my name is Julie, and on this channel we talk about tips, tricks, tools, adhesives, materials, and specific mosaic projects, all to shorten your learning curve when it comes to creating mosaic art. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, please consider subscribing. I love hearts. I always have, and I've got at least one in every room of my house, all sizes, all colors. And the one we'll be making today is definitely a larger, I think, fantastic size, and I can easily see it displayed on a coffee table, a shelf, or even as a bookend. And although the colors I'll be using today are traditional Valentine's colors, red, pink, white, you can certainly change things up to whatever color combination you would like. I chose 7 pieces of stained glass to make a big impact, and some of them have quite large personalities. Yes, glass can have a personality. This is a great, somewhat quick project that allows you to take advantage of the scrap glass that you have in your collection, and you'll also see how I'm going to create a pattern for the particular heart and how you can apply this pattern to your mosaic. I'll include a list down below in the description for all of the tools, materials, substrate, glass, all the goodies that I use in today's video in case you'd like to create a color block heart of your own. We've got a lot to cover, so let's get started. The substrate in today's video is made of wood, and it measures roughly 6 inches wide by 5 1/4 inches tall and 1 inch deep. And like I mentioned earlier, it's a good sized heart. Before I do anything though, I need to prep the substrate. I've done a video here on the channel all about how to prep wood for mosaic, and I'll include a link down below in the description so you can check it out. So once the substrate is prepped, I'm ready to create a pattern. Now this pattern is what I'll use to cut out the pieces of stained glass. So on a piece of copy paper, I trace the outline of my heart. Then with a ruler, I drew lines on the heart, which will be the sections of stained glass and the grout lines. I didn't measure out the sections. I just drew whatever looked good to me. As I'm drawing out these sections, you'll see that I've got a somewhat larger grout line. It's actually 3/8 inch wide, which is a lot larger than my traditional 1/8 of an inch. And that's on purpose, which we'll talk about more later in the video. So I continued drawing the pattern and making changes where needed. Then once I was happy with it, I lettered each section. Next, I made a photocopy of the pattern and then cut the pieces out. I got started pulling together the TESSERAE. I started with picking out the glass tile for the edge of the heart since I knew exactly what I wanted to use. Next, I got started going through my scraps of red, pink, and white stained glass. Having the pattern pieces already cut helps me quickly hold the pattern over the stained glass pieces to see if they'll work. Not only did I need to make sure a piece of glass was big enough for the pattern, but I wanted to space out the colors as well if possible. Once I was done pulling the TESSERAE together, I got started tracing the patterns onto the pieces of glass. I like to do this with a permanent marker, And I found that the metallic version works really well on dark and light pieces of stained glass. When placing your pattern on the glass, try to maximize your piece of glass. Straight lines and curves that already exist in the glass can be welcome surprises. So besides maximizing your piece of glass, you'll also have less cuts to make. Here's a tip. When cutting a highly textured piece of glass like this one here, turn it over and cut on the smooth side. But also make sure you turn over your pattern piece when you go to trace it onto the piece of glass. So to get started with cutting the glass, I'm using a glass cutter, and I prefer the Thomas grip. However, there's also a pencil grip and pistol grip. I'm also using running pliers, a non-skid ruler, and wheeled glass nippers. I've done videos here on the channel about how to cut stained glass, how to use wheeled glass nippers, and I'll include links down below in the description so you can check them out. Remember that cutting stained glass is a process, pretty much like everything else in Mosaic. So it might take multiple cuts, scores, or nips of the glass before you get it into a workable piece. Be patient with it. Once all of the pieces of stained glass are cut out, I like to go back over the pieces with the pattern and trace with the permanent marker again. Here's why. This tells me where I can either nip with the wheeled glass nippers or grind with the sanding stone or electric grinder. Once I'm done nipping and grinding the glass, I put the TESSERAE onto the substrate to see if I need to make any more adjustments. Again, with the metallic permanent marker, I went over areas that needed a little more grinding down. So you may have noticed initially that I painted the heart a charcoal gray. But after a scrap piece of glass broke while I was cutting it out, I had to change the glass and I decided on a semi-transparent piece. So I opted to paint the substrate white in order to keep the glass as bright as possible. These things happen and I was glad I had another piece that I could substitute in that place. For those of you who have watched a few videos on this channel, you know I love to work with wax paper for projects like this because the adhesive won't stick to it while the substrate is drying. So I got started by applying weld bond to the substrate and laying the TESSERAE on top of it. Weld bond is a white glue that dries clear and has a superb hold for a project just like this. I made sure to go over the entire surface of the substrate in order for all areas of the glass to get coated with the weld bond. Besides a superb hold of weld bond once it's fully dry, it also allows you to move your TESSERAE around until you get it to where you want it. The tiling of this heart went very quickly because all of the heavy lifting, so to speak, was already done. Once I was done adhering the blocks of stained glass, I got started on the edge of the heart. Now I'm using 1-inch white glass tile around the edge, and I'm using them whole. I'm not cutting them down. So this part also went very quickly, and again, I'm using Welt Bond as my adhesive. And now that the heart is completely tiled, I'll let it sit here for at least 24 hours to dry before I move on to the grouting. With the dramatic wide grout line like what I created here on this heart, I wanted to do something special with the grout. So I added metallic silver glitter grout additive to my charcoal gray grout. I recently did a video here on the channel all about how to create glitter grout, and I'll include a link down below in the description so you can check it out. I grouted the heart as I usually do in a clockwise counterclockwise motion, getting the grout into all the little nooks and crannies. You want to make sure that you are pushing the grout into the grout line opening. And for the edge, I just went back and forth with the grout, again pushing it into the grout line openings. Okay, everything is grouted, so I'll let it sit here for a bit and then I'll come back and clean it off. Okay, the heart has been sitting here about 30 minutes and now it's ready to be cleaned off. Because I have such a large grout line, plus the few pieces of TESSERAE are so big, I'll clean off each section of stained glass one by one. I don't want to risk disturbing or redistributing the grout to another area. And obviously the area that took the longest to clean out is the textured glass. But surprisingly, it cleaned up pretty quickly. But I still went in with a soft pointed tip toothpick to completely clean out the grout in the grooves. Then I went over the surface of the mosaic, especially that textured area, with an old paintbrush. This got rid of the last of the grout dust, as well as any loose pieces of glitter. I really like how this mosaic turned out. The high contrast of the glass to the dark grout is really dramatic. And the added shine and sparkle of the glitter grout makes this piece feel even more special, especially for a heart. And there you have it, a color block stained glass heart that's ready for Valentine's Day or any day of the year. I'll include a list down below in the description for the substrate, materials, tools, adhesive, glitter that I used in today's video in case you'd like to create a color block heart of your own. Question of the day, let me know if you've ever made a mosaic that combined different textures of glass. What did you make? How did you like working with it? I'd love to hear. Thank you so much for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up as it really does help my channel, and subscribe if you haven't already. Click the bell notification so you never miss a single upload, and let me know in the comments if there's something you'd like me to cover in a future video. I'll see you soon. Bye. Use a lot of the scrap black. Isn't it so sweet? I think it's so sweet. Oh gosh. Okay, let's get serious, okay? We're professionals here. Come on. Sparkle in the grout. Oh man. I can't say this. absolutely love it. And yes, I will have glitter on me. And I'll include a link. Fuzz. God, I've got glitter on my hands. Whatever. We're good. If you're looking for more mosaic inspiration, you can check out one of these 2 videos. Until then, see ya. Love one another, remember that.